What is something nobody warns people about enough when it comes to having kids?
There's a very good chance they won't turn out like you think.
People seem to often forget that they're raising people as independent thinking individuals whose actions, values, personalities, interests, and capabilities will potentially be completely unlike yours. I've seen a lot of parents struggle hard with that, and frankly, that's a possibility you should have made your peace with before you became a parent. Emo.
You have to parent the kid you have. The books are fine for ideas, your experience, friends' thoughts, pediatricians, therapists. But at the end of it all, you have this complicated little person you're in charge of with their own preferences, feelings, insecurities, abilities, and you have to do what works for them and your family and, of course, also raise someone who isn't a blight on humanity or menace to society.
As my mom says, the kid hasn't read the book. Her parents tried to do everything by the book with her and she hated it. She was supposed to have pigtails, wear dresses, learn piano and not go climb trees and play soccer, football. She saved pocket money to get her hair cut short and her dad almost hit her for it. Did she stop pushing to be herself? Nope. She is a strong woman, but boy, does she have some scars on her soul. With her own 3 kids, she watched what interests they developed and then helped them explore it further and to not forget to keep an open mind about other possible hobbies, sports, arts, etc. I have no idea how to thank her properly for this.
The days are long and the years are so very short.
Oh God, my son used to wake up at 4 a.m. for a year and had no nap until noon. By noon I already felt like it was 10 p.m. Parenthood does not end when they turn 18. It's for the rest of your life.
Corollary. It stings deep when they develop independence. My girl got her driver's license and now goes out to see her friends all the damn time, just like I did at 16. Given the emotional investment of parenting, it is really, really hard to see them go away like that. I don't know what I'm going to do when she moves along to college life and I no longer see her at breakfast every day.
For me, I stopped having a chance to think anything through without interruption. I had a very hard time with that. I couldn't remember anything, couldn't make decisions, etc. because every thought seemed to get interrupted. I'd just sit in my car alone sometimes so I could think.
I am so glad somebody said this. I was starting to worry I was getting early onset dementia, because my mind just feels like mush all the time. I can't remember things, I start sentences and can't finish them, I forget common words. My mind rarely gets to switch off because someone is always interacting with me or calling my name.
When they grow older, you don't have a private life anymore. They stay awake longer than you.
Never thought of this. The later part of the evening is my time usually. I once had to explain to the older child that we don't touch other people's private parts while nursing the baby. The boundaries change at different ages and it's hella confusing for the older one.
My daughter is 21 months. So no privacy. She pointed at my penis while I was getting up from the toilet and said, "Daddy's tail," and reached towards me. I've never pulled my pants up faster in my life. Edit. And obligatory thanks for the award and super glad my top Reddit comment will be about my daughter trying to touch my penis.
How important the years between 7 and 12 are for building a bond, one that lasts into the teenage years. They are so hard to listen to at that age with all the starts and stops in conversation and they talk about the most boring things, but it is so important to listen and converse at those ages. They will grow into teenagers that will talk to you, and be fun to talk to, but only if you can get through long boring conversations about Minecraft or whatever thing they are currently into.
I can remember being about 12 and wanting to share my biggest interest at the time with my mom, that being Bionicle, by reading to her *all* the books I had been collecting with my allowance. Sometimes she would involuntarily fall asleep, but my god she tried * so hard * to show an interest. I really didn't appreciate it at the time, focused on all the times she yawned or fell asleep, but now, 16 years later, we both remember it fondly as the bonding time it really was.
It is one of the 2 or 3 most absolute and permanent decisions you can make in life. Once you have kids, you have kids. No going back, no choosing differently, no letting time pass to heal any wounds. Not saying this is good or bad. It's just a permanent decision, if you don't take giving them up for adoption into account.
Once they get out of the toddler stage, it can become extremely worrisome and time-consuming to parent them to become good people. They start asking questions, and they form their own opinions. It's a very delicate balance between trying to get them to listen to important things and trying to get them to become more independent. It makes you think you are constantly messing it all up. It can be very hard to find a balance.
They are always listening. They know more than they can communicate, they simply don't have the words and concepts to share what they do grasp. This will lead to a lot of frustration.
Practicing diapers on a doll doesn't count. You're ready when you can do it on a cat.
My first daughter was patient and would just let us change her. My second daughter wants nothing more than to roll over and crawl away. There's nowhere for her to go, but she wants to go anyway. You will never sleep the same again. It's just different levels of fear and worries as they get older. Also, I stupidly thought once I had a child I would automatically know how to parent. You're the same dummy before and after having a child, and you realize how much your parents were winging it.
Leaving the hospital with that tiny fragile little being was terrifying. C-section delivery, so they kept us a couple days longer. Lots of help from the amazing maternity ward, to the moment you realize you and your spouse are alone and now solely responsible for keeping this little baby alive. Everything you say or do is being watched and shaping the personality of another human being, and if you duck up, you duck them up as well.
Well, quack quack motherfucker.
Nothing prepared me for the sheer unrelentingness of parenting. Every day for many years has to be finished with a dinner, bath, bed routine that takes 2 hours, regardless of how tired, upset or unwell you are. Difficult enough if you've been at work all day, yes. But also if you're on holidays and got a little bit sunburned, or been to a family wedding and overeaten, or spent the day assembling IKEA furniture and are just exhausted. As a childless adult you could occasionally say, "I'm just having takeaway tonight," and flop in front of the TV until bedtime. As a parent, that's not an option.
So they need a bath every day?
Not always, but bath in the routine can also mean wipe face, change clothes and nappy, or if older, go to toilet, clean teeth, tidy up clothes, etc. And kids can make these things complicated. You can spend 10 minutes looking in their room for their favorite soft toy they absolutely can't sleep without, only to find they left in the back seat of the car. Or if older ones saying they've cleaned their teeth, it might mean they've looked at their face in the mirror for 2 minutes without picking up the brush, so now you have to stand there behind them until they do the job properly.
How judgmental other people, especially other parents, can be.
Well, my kids did XYZ and they all turned out fine. You can lose who you are while you're raising them. But it's so important to take time for yourself to keep this from happening. Also, that you have to teach them to pull their pants up. I knew I would have to teach how to use the potty, eat, tie shoes, etc. But I was so caught off guard about having to explain how to pull pants up when getting dressed. It's a tricky maneuver for littles.
Everything takes longer than you thought it would. Leaving the house with a baby or toddler takes an extra 10 minutes minimum to make sure they haven't pooed themselves, you have a change of clothes and extra nappies, milk, food, toys, etc. Strapping them into your car seat or pram, stroller is like wrestling with an incooperative, strangely strong yet ultimately fragile octopus. Everyone says that they won't resort to screen time or frozen meals like chicken nuggets. In my experience, yes you will. Because you cannot keep a house tidy, have clean clothes, make meals, do grocery shopping, work, without compromising a few things in order to maintain sanity. There's only so many hours in the day and so thinly you can spread yourself across the rest of your life. You may have to compromise a few parts of your life. Heading out to a friend's barbecue now comes with limitations. You won't be able to stay for a long time, and you might not get to talk to your friend as much as you wanted, because you now have a small person constantly tugging on your leg to, "Look at this," and, "Can I have," and, "Can we go home?" and, "What's that?" and, "Stop talking to them and listen to me." Obviously it all depends on you and your kid, but it can be tricky to juggle. They do stupid poo all the time. There's no self-preservation, there's no logic, there's no forethought or consideration of consequences. They do weird things and there's no reason for any of it. They will take a direct route to whatever they want, and if that means walking across a mountain of toys, clothes, books, rocks, water, mud, then that's just the way it is. At the end of the day, you miss them. Regardless of how your day went, or how close you were to screaming or just shutting the door and walking away, when they close their eyes and go to sleep, you cannot wait to see them again and try again. Kids are hard, but we were all there once, and we were just as annoying as they are.
You hit the nail on the head with each point. My current frustration is the lack of urgency regarding time. My wife goes to work early, so I'm responsible for the morning routine for our 3 and 6-year-old. They have to be up. Waking up is always an issue, at a specific time in order to get ready, get fed and be at the corner for the bus. I have to leave with the 3-year-old immediately to get to the sitter once the 6-year-old is on the bus. If everything goes accordingly, I'm in the door at work at 9:15. We've gotten better at having bags ready, shoes on, hair combed, etc. before sitting down for breakfast, but we have plenty of mornings where there just isn't a sense of urgency in getting ready, resulting in us almost missing the bus. It definitely could be the most stressful part of my day, but prepping ahead definitely helps.
The sheer terror of losing one of them. My kids are adults, one is 40. If one of them dies before me, I don't think I could survive it. I wouldn't want to. And the fear is even worse when they're little and innocent and haven't at least had a life lived.
Kids suck up unbelievable amounts of time, money, and energy. And that's if you get an average child. If your child has issues, mental, psych, neural, it just swallows your life, marriage, free time, etc. Edit. My wife and I adopted 2 brothers. Older one is a trauma kid. Every minute of every day is focused on tiptoeing around him to avoid setting him off. We have found ourselves in an abusive relationship with a child. Lots of services, therapists, med changes. Nothing seems to work. Anything that doesn't go exactly his way turns into violence.
People warn you about this, but the reality is 100x times more.
When younger, it can be lonely. My only other adult interaction other than my husband is the cashier at the food store. Also, everyone is apparently an expert and gives you advice even when you don't ask.
Okay, I used to love that. I would push my kid around in a stroller with the plastic stuff over for rain or snow or wind, and some person would ask if she could breathe. I would say F***CK. Is she blue again, and look at the baby and then at the person, and then continue with my day.
Kids these days are late leavers of households, and due to rising costs of living are currently more likely to return to the nest after multiple attempts at becoming independent. 18 to life applies. The lack of sleep you'll get. It's not just the baby stage, obviously. It's until they are old enough to be trusted. The lack of sleep can make you such an angry person, especially over the years. I'm about 3 years in and I'm so mentally exhausted, I don't care who I am anymore.
How little coal they can actually mine a day.
Also, poo gardener, terrible cooks, lazy maids. Generally, I have to give them 0.5 stars as laborers. Really, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Everything everyone else said plus the process itself. People don't talk enough about the recovery after giving birth. Pissed myself for months and had to self-diagnose diastasis recti and find workout programs on the internet because even my female OB offered no help. You can also get a new butthole from tearing, bleed for 6 weeks straight, get titty blisters and dry cracked nipples from breastfeeding, and your core muscles can get totally destroyed to the point you have back problems. Is it worth it? Individual choice. I did it twice. Never doing it again because the lack of sleep is the worst part despite everything I just listed. Love my kids an insane amount and don't regret it, but there are times I miss my previously carefree lifestyle. Still wouldn't change it though. Edit to add. I gained a newfound respect for single parents, especially single parents with multiple kids. Parenting is hard enough with 1 kid and a partner, so mad props to all the single parents out there.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.